Welcome, welcome everyone. This is the Gift of Travel podcast, and I am your host, Helene Joseph at the Gift of Travel Agency. And we're an agency that not only creates the best travel experiences for you, but we're also the agency that wants you to position yourself as industry owners also. And on today's episode, we're going to be going over day one of 3 perfect days in Alaska. And this article was written by Daryl Hartman. And I really love this article and I'm excited to share it with you. So let's jump right into it. Daryl writes, if television is to be believed, Alaska is reserved for tough mothers in multiple senses and survivalists. The truth, however, is that the last frontier rewards casual adventure seekers too, especially on the Kenai Peninsula. This comparatively accessible chunk of America's largest state is home to bears, beluga whales, and icy blue glaciers, but its proximity to the state's most populous city, Anchorage, has also encouraged innovative new food and lodging options. Whether you're looking to fly fish the Kenai River or visit quirky ends of the earth town of Homer, now is the time to explore this wild wonderland. Just be sure to keep track of the distance between the next gas station. All right, let's jump into day one. Day one includes whale watching, kayaking through the fjords, and knocking back carrot margaritas. Daryl writes, I'm an hour outside of Anchorage just after dawn on a road squeezed between steep forested slopes and a vast natural bay. The mountains ahead are entombed in gray clouds. A sign informs me that the next gas station is 85 miles away. My first impression of Alaska in daylight is that it is not to be messed with. I've done my homework, so I know that the body of water to my right is the Turnagain Arm, a branch of the Cook Inlet that confounded early British explorers. The tides here are some of the world's highest, and I've read about tourists getting stranded in the quicksand like mud flats. Most of these stories end horribly, so when I see cars ahead of us parked on the roadside, I worry they've stopped to witness an unfolding disaster. Instead, it turns out they're watching belugas. The small whales are swimming parallel to the road, creating slim wakes, their white backs rolling, bringing a burst of life to the grimly impressive surroundings. I pull over for a better look. By the end of the trip, I will have become well acquainted with this turn on a dime feeling. Those moments when Alaska goes from menacing to marvelous in a heartbeat. It happens often on the Kenai Peninsula, the wild backyard of Alaska's largest city. Whereas much of the state is best seen by cruise ship or bush plane, this Vermont sized landmass is relatively car friendly, so it appeals to both Anchorage residents and self directed travelers. Continuing down the road, I reached the port town of Seward on the peninsula's east coast. My early start has left me in need of a caffeine top up, which I get along with a buttery strawberry jam scone at Resurrect Art Coffee House. Morning light streams in through the arched windows. The building is a converted Methodist church, and there's a soapstone stove and an upstairs nook with a cheese board. If you had a sit down kind of day ahead of you, this would be the perfect place to spend it. I've got plans to visit the Kenai Fjords National Park, however, so I drive down the street to local outfitter Liquid Adventures. From the company's office, I'm shuttled by minibus to an awaiting catamaran. Rain starts to fall as our small tour group motors out of the boat filled harbor and into the 4 foot seas. But by the time we enter the park's calmer fjords and launch our kayaks, the sun is shining on the majestic surroundings. To our left is a 2,500-foot wall of rock crowned with styrofoamish glacial ice. To our right is a shorter rock wall streaked with iron red. Straight ahead is the main event, a tidewater glacier that slopes down into the sea and caving noisily. The rumbling of the glacier is an ancient, awesome sound, one that we hear seconds after some great sections of ice have fallen off. At one point, a whole arc collapses, making the sea heave and leaving a scooped out cavity in front of the ice. During the boat ride back, I'm buzzing with a new awareness of geological forces, climate change, and earthly beauty. Even our guides seem to be stunned. I've never seen it that active, one says. I returned to Seward just in time to catch the last feeding session at the Alaska Sea Life Center, an aquarium and marine research facility. I watched from just feet away as a stellar sea lion named Pilot drags his sausage like body onto a rock, eagerly chomps down on thrown herrings, and gurgles for more. Next, in the aviary, I watched through a plexiglass barrier as horned puffins swim for their supper. They're basically flying underwater, leaving trails of bubbles and stuffing piles of small fish into their beaks. Also known as parrots of the sea, puffins are as cute as they are tough. They spend most of their lives out in the open ocean, in places so remote that scientists have a hard time studying them. There are certain animal behaviors that even the nature lovers among us only ever witness in captivity. Surely puffins doing their underwater grab and go is one of them. I'm ready to stuff my own beak after this long first day, so I head to Flamingo Lounge, a few blocks away. With its gold ceilings, red Chesterfield chairs, and repurposed church pews, not to mention the hundreds of novelty bourbon decanters lining the walls, the Flamingo looks more like a louche hipster bar than a restaurant, yet the five-person kitchen dishes out top-notch fare, including local specialties such as fried halibut and snow crab. I'm met by the owners Matthew and Kellyanne Cope, who moved to Seward from Southern California in 2017 after failing to find what they were looking for in trendier towns further down the coast. This is something we'd try to open if we still lived in San Diego, Matthew explains as my first drink arrives. It's a lush, mint green blend of vanilla, coconut, and lemongrass flavors. A pina colada's fourth cousin, as our tattooed female bartender puts it, and it's way more delicious than I would have expected for something this far off the beaten path. The same goes for the second round, a variation on a margarita featuring house-made carrot juice and habanero pepper. Warming to the alternative steakhouse vibe, I devour a French dip sandwich. The meat is tender, the broth herby, and my hunger eradicated. My last stop of the day is Salted Roots, a cluster of 12 rental cottages that the Copes own and manage 10 minutes outside of town. They traveled around Alaska before settling here, and Kellyanne says that they saw more than enough taxidermy and bear and moose quilts. We wanted to cater to the next generation, to create a more modern place to stay, she explains while showing me into a soaring A-frame. Indeed, the decor is light and airy. There's a communal barrel sauna, picnic tables made from recycled ocean plastic, and most fun of all, a cedar clad 1974 passenger bus that's converted into a bedroom. Despite the lovely environs, I find myself unable to sleep. I'm too excited about seeing the bears tomorrow. So that was day one of 3 perfect days in Alaska, an article written by Daryl Hartman. I'm so looking forward to sharing the other 2 days with you, so make sure that you come back to listen. I have been your host, Helene Joseph, and it has been so much fun being here with you today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As a reminder, we at Gift of Travel Agency are not only here to create the best travel experiences for you, but we're also the agency that wants you to position yourself as travel industry owners. And remember, you can always reach out to us at giftoftravelagency@gmail.com with any questions about how you can position yourself as a travel business owner with a 1099 business, or with questions about planning travel. As always, we're the agency that not only creates the best travel experiences for you, but we're also the agency that wants you to position yourself as an industry owner. I love receiving all of your questions about how to position yourself as industry owners with a 1099 business. I love getting questions about the trips that you want to plan, whether they're domestic trips, international trips, birthday celebrations, corporate retreats. I love receiving all of your questions and comments. Keep them coming. I will do my best to keep the answers coming to you as well. So that is a wrap for us here today. Before we sign off, let's take a moment to thank all of our sponsors. This episode of the Gift of Travel podcast was brought to you by Hemispheres Magazine and their sponsors. Sunhome Saunas, America's #1 home sauna and cold plunge brand. Tybee Island. Visit Savannah. Keller International. Holland, America. The Belize Collection. Nanit. Texas Center for Cosmetic Dentistry. Falling Water. Na Hoku, Hawaii's finest jewelers. F5, a force for cybersecurity. Dogtopia. Waldorf Astoria, Pompano Beach. Rosewood Residences, Hillsborough Beach. Fauna Jewelry. It's Just Lunch. Fortune House, an all-suites hotel in Miami. Lifestraw. Fanuc America. Driftwood Capital. Mikato Safaris, the world's most awarded safari company. Explore Minnesota. Visit Gallup. Archaeological Paths, Extraordinary Tours of Egypt. Backroads, Live Your Adventure. Zenni, Seamless Vision. Wine Road, Sonoma County. Visit Anchorage, Alaska. Find it all in one place. Explore Fairbanks, Alaska. Be inspired by the light of the Aurora Borealis. Whispering Hills, Wyoming. Discover a range of beauty. Manitoba, Canada's heart is calling. North Pacific Expeditions, Alaska. Marathon Helicopters, Alaska. Alaska Adventure Unlimited. Rodizo Grill, the Brazilian Steakhouse. TheBestDocs.com. Z Ocean Hotel. Visit Bishop, California's Sierra. Grand Waileha, Maui. Heaven, Earth, and Sea. Hotel Jacko in Costa Rica. Swiss Ski Safari, luxury hiking in Switzerland, Italy, and France. Valedor Wicker Park, a cocktail lounge where Mexico meets Japan. Canal Street Eatery and Market in Chicago. The Trainline app. Lemon Perfect, hydrating lemon water. Mad Hippie Skincare. Undercover Snacks. The Aesthetic Center for Plastic Surgery. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. The Total Manufacturing Solution for Plastic Injection Molding. Providence, Swedish. Visit Moorhead, Off the Beaten Path. Cowboy Caldron. Arturo Fuente, the most sought after cigar in the world. We'd like to thank all of the sponsors for their contribution towards making this episode of Gift of Travel a reality. And again, remember, at Gift of Travel, we're the agency that not only creates the best travel experiences for you, but we also want you to position yourself as industry owners. Helene at Gift of Travel Agency.